The 7 levels of philosophy addiction. Me personally, I'm not too big of a fan of philosophy because sometimes I feel like it's just over explaining simple things with simple answers or just over explaining things for the sake of over explaining things.
You are 14, probably a bit of an outsider. You don't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You watch your first Rick and Morty or Jordan Peterson episode and start pondering the meaninglessness of the universe.
As a little kid or as a little teenager, you think you know so much and you think you watch this one video and all of a sudden you're like this super intellectual genius, and then you start arguing on Reddit, you start arguing on Discord. I feel like that's such a common route for the younger generation, especially since everybody is on social media. Everybody just wants an idea to hold on to so they could argue for or against it. I don't know, I think people are just bored in life.
Or you go the other way and watch a few philosophy tube videos and then go on to ContraPoints. You start finding flaws in capitalism, and you start hearing about this guy called Marx. You get into dark academia clothing, and you start wearing total—
Please stay away from Marxism. Don't be one of those little kids who thinks they're smart reading Karl Marx's manifesto or whatever it is. Marxism is a terrible idea. Just critique the ideas we have now because we could always improve, but Marxism doesn't work.
necks and long coats. At this time, you also start feeling a bit depressed. You had never thought about the meaning or meaninglessness of life, but you feel cool in your depression. You also find yourself feeling superior in your intellect. You proclaim, I am a nihilist and nothing matters.
Exactly, bro. I feel like people do it because they seek meaning. You want to know what the actual meaning of life is? It's extremely simple. There's no philosophy behind it. If you don't believe in God, it's whatever you want it to be. That's it.
You are bored of watching video essays on YouTube. You finally decide to start reading. Probably start with Albert Camus' Stranger. You identify yourself with the character of Marceau. You even start looking down upon your parents a bit, but you still love them. You sometimes read these books in a cafe, and you know you look cool with your cappuccino, long coat, and copy of Being in Nothingness. You don't understand most of the words, but it seems like a new challenge that will open your mind to deeper knowledge of life. You probably read a bit of Marx, the Communist Manifesto most likely, and you start saying, eat the rich. Elon Musk.
This is kind of the problem with this type of literature and philosophy and these type of studies in general. People feel as though they're getting smarter by just learning these basic principles or these basic historical facts or whatever it is. It's not like they're complicated. It's not like they're unique. It's not like you are more intellectual than somebody else who doesn't research into that stuff. I don't know why I just find people who are so deep into philosophy corny and cringe. Specifically young people though, like who are really young, you know they're doing it to be either performative, to try to feel smarter, or like for the wrong reason. If you really do enjoy philosophy, go ahead, study it, you know?
Musk becomes your chief enemy, and you're not only a nihilist now, you're a Marxist as well. This is the time you start discovering philosophers like Kant, Hegel, and Nietzsche. You don't read everything they have to.
Yeah, you know how there's film bros, like the people who like Tarantino and all the other famous directors? When I think of philosophy, bro, I think of somebody who reads Nietzsche. Like, you want to be cool so bad.
Say, but paragraphs here and there. You are almost overwhelmed as to how much there is to read. You finally understand most of the philosophy memes that circulate on the internet. You start spending most of your time reading, and when you talk to normies, you find yourself looking down upon them. Everything they say seems inconsistent and informed by biases. Also, you really love philosophy.
Everything is biased. Philosophy isn't something that you'll get smarter with learning. You just learn about what other people thought. What is philosophy? People's thoughts on things. If I thought the meaning of life was that you're supposed to kill everybody in the world, and I wrote a book about that in 1954, then somebody would have read that and thought they were getting smart. No, you just read my thoughts on something. Philosophy, you're just reading the thoughts of another person. It's not like calculus where you learn something and you get actually really smart and you understand how to do this and others literally can't fathom doing it or comprehend it. Or like physics or astrophysics, something where it's like real complex. You're actually learning. Philosophy is just ideas. Like nihilism, somebody doesn't have to read a book about nihilism to know that, okay, you think the world is meaningless, you think life is meaningless. Somebody doesn't have to read a philosophy book about Nietzsche saying God is dead to know that, oh, God was probably falling out of the communities at that time or whatever.
At this time, and probably want to do it at uni. You're not only a nihilist, but a Nietzschean too. You don't realize that these things are incompatible, and you're obviously strongly anti-capitalist. At this level, you start reading a lot of philosophy. You have piles and piles of unread PDFs and books. You start analyzing every aspect of your life. And you overthink everything. It's both good and bad. You can't enjoy many normal things in life like water parks and sitcoms. But also certain moments in nature make you feel almost ecstatic. You waver from great happiness to great sadness. You also get into postmodern philosophy and start watching CCK philosophy. Foucault and Baudrillard open up a new world for you. But you're far from reading them.
Okay, never mind. These people are learning something because I don't know what postmodern philosophy is, but if I did like a quick 5-minute Google search, I could probably figure it out. Another thing though is that people that study philosophy, it's like they're really studying one side of philosophy. Different people have different ideologies and they're putting these ideologies in their books that they're writing. So you're only getting a biased view, and then you're gonna inherently be biased. I'm pretty sure there's philosophers who are capitalists or philosophers who are conservative, and if you're not reading that, you're gonna end up falling one way. That's like the main problem with literature. You're gonna go one way or the other, and then you're not gonna read the other side and be very biased.
You finally believe that you have attained all knowledge within philosophy. There's nothing even further to explore. You start feeling a growing dissatisfaction with philosophy. You want to become pure instinct and enjoy life
Level 7 of philosophy is realizing philosophy is meaningless.
to the fullest. You sometimes even cringe when you look back at yourself. You read Wittgenstein and you have convinced yourself that philosophy is just language games.
That's literally what I said. I guess I was level 5. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. It is just language games. You're just looking at things for the sake of looking at them, talking about things for the sake of talking about them.
You finally start reading the postmodernists beyond Foucault, and it opens a new world. You regain your interest in philosophy, but this time your focus turns more towards politics and history. You finally read Nietzsche's genealogy of morality, and even a bit of Kierkegaard. You become interested in how we have been psyoped into our current mentality. Even after years of reading philosophy, you feel that you have only scratched the surface of knowledge. You haven't even escaped the matrix yet. You start becoming a bit schizo. You lose a lot of your friends.
I did a quick 2-second search of postmodernism, and the two sentences that I saw were that it's a rejection of objective truth and an acceptance that everything is subjective in life, which I completely reject, because if everything's subjective, then that's an objective statement that everything's subjective. So it's a logic fail.
Either due to dissatisfaction or trying to change their beliefs. You finally understand that philosophy, fiction, religion, and myth are one. Knowledge is not a collection of facts, but a state of being. It is a mystical state of being almost similar to schizophrenia. You start becoming interested in both the left and the right. You read Bataille and Deleuze. You become interested in attaining limited experiences. You want to feel the ecstasy of agony. You discover Deleuze's concept of the body without organs, and you pretend to understand it like the rest of us. You also
All the things he's mentioned sound like completely new ideas to me. I've not heard about any of them. Let me know if y'all heard about all these things, because these sound confusing. But I think the general consensus of the video is that the more you do philosophy, the more you realize philosophy isn't that special. But then the more you realize, but as you keep trying to learn, you then realize there's a second level to philosophy, which are these crazy concepts that he was just talking about. So it's kind of like you understand the meaningless of meaning while trying to find meaning in the meaningless. I'm a philosopher like that.
You also discover Bataille's secret society of Asaphael, and you want to start a secret society of your own. You read the traditionalist Evola and Guénon, and you find yourself having mystical experiences on a park bench. These visions range from observing the true form of Krishna to Eastern gods having sex with each other. You may have or may not have attained true knowledge, but what's for certain is that you're 100% unemployed.
No, that was a perfect ending. That was actually a great video. I really like the ending because he really just brought it all together, basically saying that you have no job and you don't do anything. All you do is think about things to think of. But yeah, this actually made me more interested in philosophy. Before, I really had zero interest in it, kind of a little bit, but now I kind of want to look into the concepts he was talking about later in the video, which sounded interesting. But yeah, if y'all like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want me to do next. Let me know what your favorite philosopher or philosophy idea is in the comments, and have a good day.